An alarming trend spirals into a full-blown health scare, and now fears about the measles is starting to hit close to home. Out on the West Coast, people are starting to report startling signs showing up in store windows and at medical facilities. These signs asking people to remember if they might have been in that building on a particular date and time. Those that answered yes were told that they may have been exposed to measles. There were even more cases confirmed in the recent outbreak again today. The story is not going away anytime soon. In Phoenix, nearly 1,000 people may have been exposed to the measles virus, and now some children that have not been vaccinated are under a mandatory quarantine. Many parents are outraged that in a doctor's office of all places, their child was exposed to a potentially fatal disease. And health officials in Arizona believe that this is hardly the end. They expect to see even more measles patients in the coming days, and they're preparing for the worst. There are now 95 confirmed cases of measles in the United States in under 4 weeks. Federal health officials trace the outbreak back to Disneyland. Now several people have returned home and spread it to others in their communities. Doctors warn that measles is one of the most contagious viruses out there, and some health analysts believe that up to 90% of all unvaccinated people exposed to measles could contract the virus. But several people are also concerned because so many of the infected children were vaccinated. Now those concerns are keeping dozens of California students home from school, and it's all because their parents chose not to vaccinate them. At Palm Desert High School, 66 children got sent home and told not to return until February 9th.
They are going to be asked to stay home until the incubation period for contagion would be complete.
As you can imagine, this decision is sparking a heap of controversy in the community. Parents are outraged. They feel that their kids are victims, being forced to miss nearly 2 weeks of class because of their own conscious health choices. Clearly, not everyone agrees. Other students say they feel safer knowing that they won't have to walk the hallways with potentially exposed students.
I think it's just a safety precaution for the kids who do, just in case they do get it. It's a good way to make sure everyone is safe and doesn't get hurt.
I do think it's important because they need to stay safe and healthy, so I do think it's good for them too.
This measles scare is reigniting a national conversation over whether or not vaccines are safe. We know they've done a lot to eradicate deadly viruses over the years, but even the federal health experts admit there is always the risk of side effects and unwanted reactions, as every human's body reacts a little differently to different injections. In other news, now the FBI is on the hunt for suspects who made a series of threatening messages on social media. Those threats have caused a lot of headaches for travelers in this country. In less than 1 week, we've seen at least 20 different cases across the nation where pilots were forced to land their passenger planes because of these bomb threats. Many of them were posted with references to ISIS and posted specific airline flight numbers. It's the kind of threat that the FBI and the airlines themselves take very seriously, and for good reason. But so far, all of the threats have come up empty, and airliners are starting to grow frustrated that someone with access to a keyboard and the internet is wreaking havoc on their daily flight schedules. Earlier this week, F-16 fighter jets intercepted 2 passenger planes and diverted them to Atlanta. One Southwest flight, another from Delta. In just 5 days, 18 other planes were all affected, and in every case, the planes were forced to land, passengers evacuated, while bomb squads and the FBI searched for any evidence of a threat. And these aren't victimless crimes either. The threats are very costly, forcing airlines to spend tens of thousands of dollars every time there is a threat. And of course, it's a major inconvenience to thousands of passengers. After an FBI investigation, all of the Twitter accounts involved have been suspended. While federal officials continue their investigation, they do know enough to say this is most likely the work of a prankster, not a terrorist. And in case you are wondering, yes, it is still a federal crime, a very serious one. If you are caught and convicted, it could cost you up to $250,000 and up to 5 years behind bars.
Fear spreads fast as new reports show Ebola is mutating. Scientists in France are saying that the virus has changed. The same researchers who originally announced the outbreak are now tracking Ebola's mutations. Their newest mission is to figure out if the virus is becoming easier to spread. Scientists say it is not unusual for a virus to change. Ebola, like HIV and influenza, is an RNA-type virus. This means it has an increased rate of mutation and is highly contagious. So far, 20 Ebola samples have been analyzed in France, with another 600 on the way. Over 22,000 people have been infected with Ebola since the start of the outbreak, and more than 8,500 have died. The future of the 2016 Summer Olympics is now unclear. The lagoon in Rio de Janeiro, where canoeing and rowing events are to take place, have nearly dried up. Brazil is facing its worst drought in over 80 years. The country's Environment Secretary, Andre Correa, says that they are facing the worst water crisis in history. Correa also reported that Rio's main reservoir is operating at zero capacity, but rationing is not yet needed. The country is now facing energy shortages as hydroelectric dams output reduced generation. With the Olympics right around the corner, one biologist says that it is too early to tell what the future holds.
We don't know what will happen in 2015, and there's another year until 2016, so we are dealing with a great unknown.
The newest spa trend may make your skin crawl, literally. Thailand is now offering snail facials. That's right, these slimy critters take a stroll across your skin in the name of beauty. Dermatologists are claiming that the practice is beneficial. When placed on your face, the snails keep the skin moist while stimulating cells to produce collagen. The slug feels like a small scratch as their 14,000 microscopic teeth graze through your epidermis. Clients who receive the treatment say their skin looks younger and brighter than ever before.